We're going to go ahead and move along to public comment.
Alan Axelrod.
Thank you so much. My name is Alan Max Axelrod. I am the campaign lead of an organization called No Ameren Shutoffs. We are a $0 all-volunteer grassroots campaign of 47 member organizations and counting, from Waukegan all the way down to Carbondale, with the vast majority of organizations in Central Illinois. We have won 3 statewide moratoria on utility shutoffs. And I'm here today because of the gaps in our current moratorium, the devastating consequences of it, and the devastating consequences of yet another moratorium that was eroded and is going to cause more harm during this pandemic. On September 24th, 2 days after our 6-month moratorium through the Illinois Commerce Commission, Ameren, Illinois started to disconnect utilities. They disconnected 6,543 different households in just 1 week. 98 of those were in Bloomington. In October, that number went up to 440 households. When you displace a household, you are harming more than one household. The person is dehoused. If they have children, they have to have the children somewhere else, and they have to find their own shelter. 2 weeks after shutoffs began, we have not had a day under 2,000 daily coronavirus cases. That's October 7th. October 15th, we have had over 3,000 cases of coronavirus a day. October 24th, we had over 4,000 coronavirus cases a day. And October 28th, we have had over 6,000 cases a day, all before Halloween, all before the election. Our restaurants aren't more popular, although I'm sure they're great. Our election wasn't worse than any other states. It was utility shutoffs. The Congressional Research Service's 2007, that's Bush era analysis, entitled Pandemic Influenza, an analysis of state preparedness and response plans, had in Table 8, public utility service continuation. Ameren, Illinois is a public utility regulated by the Illinois Commerce Commission. I'm speaking to you today in support of Initiative B2 on the agenda because we need our governor to protect residents more than multi-billion-dollar corporations who, by the way, their profits have maintained pace or increased since last year for quarters 2 and 3. That was the zenith of our unemployment crisis. They had a 36% increase in their profits per share, and all the way through the end of September. So with no shutoffs, they've demonstrated the ability to be profitable, yet we have suffered the consequences of it. Please do what you can to protect your residents. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hi, this is Charlotte Alvarez. I'm the Executive Director of the Immigration Project. As a side note, we have a fund to help immigrant families pay rent and utilities that is still open. I encourage eligible families to contact us and apply. The program ends at the end of this year. But today, my primary purpose is to talk about the proposal to explore a certified welcoming designation with Welcoming America. I'm encouraged to see the city is continuing to try to find ways to help immigrants in our community. However, I encourage you all to not lose sight of the fact that hundreds of community leaders have been stating for years that the key way to do that is to pass a welcoming city ordinance that eliminates communication between Bloomington Police Department and ICE. The Welcoming America designation requires community collaboration as part of its principles. Passing an ordinance will be a key way for us to collaborate together. One pillar of the welcoming designation is safe communities. And while the organization leaves it up to the city to determine what that means, given our history of FOIA requests, the fact that we're here today talking about these issues as a direct result of the community's calls for an ordinance, a safe community is one with a welcoming ordinance for us in Bloomington. The protection of a welcoming ordinance is not theoretical. It's a real need that we're talking about actual lives. I'm going to be really blunt. Recently, Immigration Project spoke with a client who was raped. She didn't make a police report or even go to the hospital. And despite our encouragements to report, they have not done so out of fear of giving an address, And the fear is that that could cause trouble or deportation for them or their undocumented family members. This person is not in Bloomington, but is in our service area in central and southern Illinois. Someone feels unsafe with their police, and so a rapist is out free. That's just how it is for our community members, and no one wants that. Here in Bloomington, we could get a similar call tomorrow or next week of someone who has the same fear. Although we have a good working relationship with the Bloomington police on U visa certifications, we can't say there's a law here that your information won't be shared. We can't say with 100% certainty that no harm will come from helping to stop a crime. Being designated welcoming is something, but we aren't here to get a sticker or a designation unless it means more, unless it solves the problems and is responsive to our city and the needs expressed by our community. The public must trust our police for them to function effectively, and an ordinance is how we build that trust together. So let's keep on exploring welcoming designation, and in that process, let's come together around the table and put into place the ordinances and the actions that make us a strong, welcoming community where we all feel safer and better off.
Thank you, Charlotte. Thank you.
Next up, we have Zachary Getrich.
Zachary?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, my name is Zach. I'm excited to speak to you today because there are some great proposals being presented by both sides. First off, I strongly suggest you all support this non-binding resolution, politely asking the governor to create a moratorium on utility shutoffs during the COVID-19 pandemic. We haven't even gotten to the winter months yet, but the COVID numbers are through the roof. Passing this resolution is literally the bare minimum you can do, and it is desperately needed as we are months away from any possible assistance from the feds because of their incompetence. People are already working on breadcrumbs, kids back at home, and the last thing people need right now is utility shutoffs. I also wanted to say how happy I was with Donna Bolin for her supporting of welcoming cities. The Welcoming Americas initiative will be a great thing to include in our welcoming ordinance. I'm really glad you've decided to support making Bloomington a welcoming city that is safe for immigrants by passing an inclusive welcoming ordinance. Your support is greatly appreciated, and thank you so much. And I know that many elected officials have worried about the baseless threat of losing federal funding because of passing a welcoming ordinance. The person who is making this claim has never actually read a single sentence of the U.S. Constitution. And just this past summer, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled stripping money from cities who refused to collaborate with ICE was actually unconstitutional. So by them doing that, they would actually be engaging in illegal activity. Hopefully we can put this warrantless threat to bed since President Trump lost so bigly. I mean, I don't think anyone has ever suffered this huge of a loss in all of human history. I mean, it was hilarious, but super sad that Trump suffered this tremendous record-breaking failure from a candidate like Sleepy Joe and Kamala the cop. Just like hashtag sad. I don't think anyone's ever seen a loser this big. Anyway, since this huge loss by Trump in the election, we no longer have to worry about a federal government threatening to take away federal funding from cities that refuse to engage in immigration enforcement. With the inclusion of Donna's proposal, I think Bloomington will become one of the friendliest cities in the Midwest for immigrants. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, Madam Clerk.
Next up, we have Carla Bailey Smith.
My name is Carla Bailey Smith, and I'm here to support a welcoming ordinance. I'm a resident of Bloomington and a member of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Bloomington Normal. Our statewide UU advocacy network supports all efforts to protect immigrants and keep families together because we believe in the inherent worth and dignity of every person. We seek to promote justice, equity, and compassion in human relations, and to recognize our interdependence with all who are marginalized. Illinois' Trust Act only prohibits detaining people on immigration status alone. It doesn't do anything to prohibit local law enforcement to detain people or inform ICE of a possible undocumented immigrant. We want everyone to feel safe calling the police to protect them. And we don't want to see any more families torn apart. Additionally, I urge the council to support no shutoffs with Ameren. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next,
Be Doug Hennessy.
Doug?
I am there. Yes, I'm here.
Okay, Doug. All right, good. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I'm Father Doug Hennessy. I'm the retired pastor of Holy Trinity Church. I just want to speak briefly in support of the Welcoming City Ordinance. Again, I think it's really important that we codify the values that keep people safe and make sure that they know they can flourish and develop here. So I just encourage you to give that. Welcoming America is an admirable thing, but that's more aspirational, what we want to be. But the Welcome City Ordinance will make sure that it is what we are. So I encourage you to give that careful consideration. I think it's really important for Bloomington. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Doug, very much. Madam Clerk, next.
All right. Next up will be Kyle Auer.
Kyle, are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Thank you.
I thank you, Mayor and the council. So I'm here today to talk about the Welcoming City Ordinance, and I'm very happy to say that that Donna is taking the first step towards going towards the ordinance. We definitely need to make more steps to make the community safer for undocumented and documented immigrants. Safety is of the utmost importance, especially in any community, and I feel like it needs to be followed through. And I also urge the council to look into no Ameren shutoffs, because it's getting towards winter time and we need to make sure all of the community is safe, and especially with the COVID-19 pandemic, we definitely don't want people to feel like they have to expose themselves to the virus. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much. Next, Madam Clerk.
Next up is Matthew Sims.
Matthew?
Hi, can you hear me this time?
Oh, yes, there we go. There we go. Go, Matt.
Excellent. Yes, the instructions were a little unclear when it was coming through. Hello, Council. I'm here in spirit and voice today to discuss two very important topics for me. The Welcome Cities Ordinance and a potential eviction moratorium extension. Now more than ever, we need to focus on healing all the damage done to our relationships with our fellow Americans. One of the most damaged by far in our recent political climate is with our immigrants. It is important that despite our political climate these last 4 years, that we put forth the effort to strengthen the relationships with the immigrant community and our police by ensuring that police and city officials are not participating in federal immigration enforcement efforts together. We need to be culminating an open and welcoming environment in which people are willing to go through the proper channels to be a part of this and support of this society. This includes some great level of further immigration reform, but that's another conversation with other audiences. I urge you to pass the Welcoming Cities Ordinance and help heal these wounds that exist. Alongside this issue is something that is very important. Building upon everything Alan has said, Pritzker just extended the eviction moratorium for an additional 30 days, which was announced on the 13th. Given the recent COVID data, I don't think that's sufficient. I would urge the council to do what you can to push and have our voices heard to extend the moratorium further, and also support no utility shutoffs during the pandemic time. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you very much. Next, Madam Clerk.
Last up, we have Lori Bergner. Are you there,
Lori, are
Lori?
you there?
Okay, can you hear me now?
Oh, yes, there we go, Lori. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you know, I didn't hear you say *6, so I on my phone it's unmuted, but I just didn't know what to do. Okay, so I'm a board member of the Immigration Project, and I'm also here to speak in favor of or urging the council to take up the Welcoming City Ordinance again, which is just necessary if we're going to become a certified welcoming city. The ordinance restricts communication between the police department and ICE, and that's just a necessary part of really creating a welcoming city. And I want to mention that I contacted Kathleen Lorenz from Normaltown Council, and she said that as far as she knows, everything's going fine with their welcoming city ordinance. And then I talked to Chief Rick Bleichner, and he said not only was it going really well and people were working together very well, but he said it's even been helpful for him because it keeps him in the loop. So it's actually, he's really liked having it actually. So this shows that it can be done without a problem, whatever else people thought in terms of that it couldn't be done or there would be some kind of major issues. There really have not been. And he talked about the importance of sitting down at the table together, listening to each, and really working out something that everybody can live with. And I think it's very doable. So I really know it was a very difficult situation when it came up last time, and I hope that the council will consider giving this a try again. It's been several years, and it's gone beautifully and normal.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.